Obviously, you're in a really tough fight against Israil Madrimov. A lot of people maybe had him beating Terence Crawford. What did you think of that fight when you watched it at the time?
Well, I thought it was a good fight, but I mean, Terrence beat him. It really wasn't too competitive for me. I mean, it was a competitive fight, but I didn't think that he won. You know. So.
What did you see in Israil Madrimov that night? Did you see anything that you believe you can capitalize on this week?
I mean, of course, we saw some things, but people approach every fight differently, so I can't. I just take that with a grain of salt and keep it in mind. It's not like I'm gonna remember every single detail once I'm in that ring. I'm just gonna focus on the details that are in front of me, what I can capitalize on. Uh,
Well, you guys heard it straight from the horse's mouth. That was Vergil Ortiz telling the truth on Crawford versus Madrimov, which is Crawford clearly won the fight. Only old media tried to brainwash the public to believing the fight was even close, or it was controversial. That was the narrative and agenda by old media, the likes of Chris Mannix, Sergio Mora, and Grisham on DAZN. I must admit, they did a fantastic job being biased on DAZN. All because Crawford doesn't have the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection. Well, Vergil Ortiz, leading up to his fight with Madrimov, he said what basically everyone that was honest or objective said, which is Crawford clearly won. The fight was not close at all. It's funny because the reporter set up the pitch. He asked the question in a way to make Vergil Ortiz go along with his narrative that old media is pushing, which is a lot of people felt Madrimov won the fight. And Vergil checked that quick, even though he could have benefited by saying, oh yeah, I thought Madrimov won, so he can get more credit once he beat Madrimov. However, Vergil Ortiz was being honest by telling the truth, which is, I don't know what the hell people talking about, and I don't know what you talking about, basically. I guess not getting put to sleep is a win in old media's book if you're going against Bud. Either way, leading up to this fight, I told you guys, this entire card, the main fight I was looking forward to was Vergil Ortiz versus Madrimov, because this was a very significant fight for the division moving forward. You obviously have Fandora, but the two top dogs in the division right now is Vergil Ortiz and Bekram. Let's hope Turkey can deliver this fight next. However, as far as Madrimov versus Vergil Ortiz, I told you guys, I wanted to see if Madrimov was really that nice or if he has a kryptonite, because the European fighters, a lot of them can't take it to the body, nor they can handle the pressure. They don't know how to fight in the inside. And Vergil Ortiz exposed that in Madrimov game. Leading up to the fight, I told you guys the fight could go either two ways. Madrimov completely dominating Vergil Ortiz and even possibly knocking him out. Or Vergil Ortiz applying pressure and Madrimov not being able to handle the pressure. Because during the Crawford fight, Madrimov had a lot of success when he was pretty much fainting. However, he wasn't throwing punches because Crawford was looking to counter, but Madrimov wouldn't lead. And he just kept switching positions, feinting, acting like he wanted to do something, giving Crawford the type of vibe that he has something under his sleeves, that he was setting Crawford up for something, until Crawford realized, man, this man is bluffing me. He's not trying to do anything. He just want to buy some time. That's when Crawford started applying pressure and breaking down Madrimov. That's when Sean Porter started saying Crawford should switch orthodox and apply pressure that way so he doesn't walk into a power shot or to the right hand. That's why Sean Porter was saying that, because he saw that Madrimov was uncomfortable with the pressure that Crawford was applying, which that would have been 2x, 3x what it was if he was orthodox, because he gets to take the angles away. Either way, that's what Vergil Ortiz did in this fight. He applied pressure from round one. And round 1 and 2, Madrimov was looking good while he had energy, but the problem was he was only throwing one shot at a time. He didn't have a good jab like he usually has. And to make matters worse, he kept his hands down. And he just had an amateur style against Vergil Ortiz due to the pressure. Because pressure is going to bust pipes or create a diamond. Well, credit to Madrimov in the later rounds when I thought Vergil was on the verge of knocking him out. All of a sudden, this man showed not just heart, but an iron chin. And he just went toe-to-toe with Vergil Ortiz. Vergil even got tired of hitting Madrimov at some point. Either way, Madrimov, just like Bivol, they like to fight at a certain distance and at a certain pace. If you apply too much pressure, they're not comfortable with that. The difference is Bivol is obviously better technically. More importantly, you don't see Bivol putting his hands down and things of that sort. He's a technical fighter, and what makes him special is he's able to make adjustments. Madrimov had a hard time landing on Vergil Ortiz. The fight looked like Morel versus Benavidez outside of the movement. If you take that away, the way Vergil Ortiz was defending, he was catching all the shots that Madrimov was throwing. And Madrimov just couldn't protect his body from the body shots that Vergil Ortiz was throwing. And as soon as Vergil started touching him to the body, it was all downhill for Madrimov. So a lot of credit goes to Vergil Ortiz for taking on such a tough fight and passing the test with flying colors. This is the type of stuff you want to see from a hungry young lion. And this also shows why styles make fights. Crawford, on one hand, he beat Madrimov at his own game. What Madrimov does best is where Crawford beat him, which is at the distance control, boxing one-on-one, countering, footwork, the right positioning, just skill one-on-one. It was a technical chess match until Crawford turned it up once he figured Madrimov is just really bluffing him and not trying to do much, just pretty much surviving and not getting punished in the process. On the other hand, Vergil Ortiz beat Madrimov at his weakness, which is by applying a lot of pressure. Madrimov can't handle pressure well, and the body shots. He can't defend well against body shots. Basically, Vergil Ortiz exposed Madrimov inside game. When you have a fighter that's putting his hands down while he's getting hit, that's not a good sign, because fighters usually showboat and put their hands down and things of that sort when they are completely in control, not while getting hit to the head and the body, while their opponent is completely bullying them like a bull. Anyways, the judges actually scored this fight the same way they scored Crawford versus Madrimov fight, just showing and proving once again that the commentary on the zone, from Grisham to Sergio Mora to Chris Mannix, are hella biased to the point they are brainwashing the public. We didn't hear any of these commentators keep the same energy with Madrimov versus Vergil Ortiz. No one said Madrimov was winning, even though Crawford and Vergil Ortiz won the same amount of rounds against Madrimov. The only difference was Crawford versus Madrimov was slower pace. But as far as the amount of rounds Crawford won, he won the same amount of rounds Vergil did, if not more. But these people had the audacity to tell the public that Madrimov was winning against Crawford. That's how much these guys hate Bud, simply because they don't want to see a fighter on the coincidental list on top of the food chain as the pound-for-pound king in the sport of boxing. No difference than Floyd, no difference than Roy, Pernell Whitaker, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, and fighters of that sort. Basically, they do not want history to repeat itself. What they want to do is change history. But you can't do that. Which is why, if I was Crawford, my main complaint is going to go to Turkey like, bruh, I am not going to fight Canelo with these racially biased commentators on the zone, from Sergio Mora, Chris Mannix, and Grisham. Because at that point, I got to fight Canelo, the judges, the referee, the public, and the commentators? Oh, hell no. At least you can't have the commentators brainwashing the public like that. That's the least thing Crawford can ask for from Turkey. is to replace these biased, or I should say racially biased commentators. Another thing that could be done is have an option for no commentary, only the sound of the punches and the corners. I don't know why they don't implement that in the sport of boxing. We do not want to listen to these biased commentators. We want to see the fight and judge for ourselves. Why can't we just have the option not to mute, because we want to hear the sound of the punches, fans cheering, and it will be a huge bonus to include the corner's instructions. Man, that will be a game changer. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If Vergil Ortiz fights Bekram, who knocked out Tim Tszyu, who do you guys have winning? Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.